Induction cooktops heat pans fast, but that speed can also cause warping, uneven cooking, and loud buzzing and clicking noises like this. So how do you avoid all those problems? And which cookware actually performs the best on induction? To find out, I put 13 of the top performing cookware collections through a series of tests. To test speed, I set the cooktop to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and timed how long it took for the center of each pan to reach that temperature. As soon as the center hit 400, I measured the edge temperature to see how evenly the heat spread across the pan. I also timed how long each pan took to boil 4 cups of 60-degree water. To test warp resistance, I measured how flat the bottom of each pan was before and after heating it to 475 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 minutes. I also cooked eggs, pancakes, chicken, and many other foods in each pan on the same induction burner to see how they performed in everyday use. Throughout my testing, I tracked whether they buzzed, clicked, or showed signs of warping, like wobbling or oil pooling near the edges. In this video, I show you the results of my testing and explain why some of these top performing brands perform even better on induction, while others perform significantly worse. I break it down by material so you can find the best option for your needs. Near the end, I'll share a simple tip that most people overlook that can make a huge difference in how your cookware performs on induction. In the stainless steel category, I tested 4 top-rated collections: All-Clad D3 Everyday, Hestan NanoBond, Fissler Original-Profi, and Demeyere Atlantis. All-Clad D3 Everyday is the upgraded version of All-Clad's most popular collection, D3. But instead of the standard All-Clad U-shaped handle, these pans have a more subtle groove on top that's much more comfortable. This pan heated fast and evenly, but the bottom warped noticeably in my testing. Hestan NanoBond is the most expensive collection I tested, but the surface is coated with titanium ions, which make it extremely hard, smooth, and scratch resistant. Because it's so smooth, it's one of the best stainless steel pans for eggs. In terms of induction performance, it heated quickly when empty, but it was the slowest stainless steel pan to boil water. The base warped slightly, and it made loud buzzing and pulsing noises throughout my testing. Fissler Original-Profi has thin steel walls, but a super thick 7mm disc bonded to the base. Because of the thickness of the disc, this pan heats evenly and doesn't warp, but it slows everything down. It was the slowest stainless steel pan to reach 400 degrees and the second slowest to boil water. It was also one of the loudest pans with lots of buzzing and clicking. The textured surface keeps oil under food and prevents sticking slightly, but it makes cleaning more difficult. That brings me to the clear winner in the stainless steel category, Demeyere Atlantis. The fry pans in this collection are 5mm thick, which is more than 2mm thicker than All-Clad and Hestan. And they're made up of 7 bonded layers, including 3 layers of steel at the bottom that Demeyere calls triple induct. These 3 steel layers are designed to boost induction efficiency and prevent warping. The second point about warping is definitely true. This pan started completely flat and stayed that way after heating it. The first part about induction efficiency is debatable. This pan didn't heat as fast as thinner pans when empty, but it boiled water quicker than all of them. I also tested the Demeyere Atlantis saucepan against 2 others, and it was faster than one and slightly slower than the other. Most importantly, it was the only stainless steel pan that didn't make any buzzing or clicking sounds during all of my testing. In the non-stick category, I tested 3 top performing collections: All-Clad HA1 Expert, GreenPan Valencia Pro, and Made In. All-Clad HA1 Expert is made of hard anodized aluminum, and since aluminum isn't ferromagnetic, they bond a steel plate to the bottom to make it work on induction. Although it cooks well on gas and electric burners, it was a major disappointment on induction. It warped significantly, buzzed constantly, and occasionally lost connection with the burner. A few times I had to lift it up and place it back down just to get it working again. Made In nonstick uses the same 5-ply stainless steel body as the brand's stainless steel collection. The only difference is that there's a nonstick coating applied to the cooking surface. It comes in both PTFE, also known as Teflon, and ceramic. This pan feels sturdy and performs well in real-world cooking, but it warped slightly and occasionally made clicking and buzzing noises, especially as it initially heats up. GreenPan Valencia Pro has a hard anodized aluminum body just like All-Clad, but its base includes iron and copper particles designed specifically for induction. It heated more evenly than the others, boiled water faster than made in, didn't make any buzzing noises, and didn't warp. It also performed well in the past when I stress tested the nonstick coating of several popular pans. My general advice with nonstick cookware is that most home cooks only need one nonstick fry pan for eggs and other delicate foods. There's no need to buy larger nonstick saucepans and stock pots, since the nonstick coating isn't necessary when cooking liquids, and it only limits the lifespan of those pans. So for most home cooks with an induction cooktop, the GreenPan Valencia Pro fry pan is an excellent option as a dedicated egg pan. Plus, it's cheaper than All-Clad and made in. In the cast iron category, I tested 3 skillets that performed the best in my previous testing: Field Company, Lodge Classic, and Smithey. Field Company is lightweight, easy to maneuver, and has a smooth cooking surface. It performed well on gas and electric, but I can't recommend it for induction. During my testing, it warped significantly. The center curved downward and the pan wobbled on the cooktop. Lodge Classic and Smithey performed similarly in every induction test. Both heated slowly, as expected for cast iron, but neither warped. Their bottoms stayed completely flat before and after heating, and neither pan made any buzzing or clicking sounds. Smithey has a raised heat ring on the bottom, which I thought might hurt performance since only part of the pan touches the cooktop, but it didn't make a difference. So if you're choosing between the two, it comes down to price and design. Both are made in the USA, but Lodge is significantly cheaper and has a rougher surface that holds on to seasoning well. Smithey costs more, but has a polished interior, which is great for eggs, larger pour spouts, and a slimmer, more comfortable handle. I personally prefer the Smithey and think it's worth investing in a cast iron skillet since it can last a lifetime. But if you're looking for the best value, Lodge is the clear winner. In the carbon steel category, I tested Demeyere Blue Carbon Steel, Strata, and Demeyere Mineral B Pro. Demeyere Blue Carbon Steel performs well on gas and electric, but because of its thin construction, it warped significantly on induction. Even before my warp test, the bottom was concave, but it got much worse after I heated it. Strata has a unique construction with a carbon steel cooking surface, an aluminum core, and a steel bottom. This pan heated fast and didn't warp, but like many multi-layered pans, it buzzed, especially as it preheated. It also had the worst heat distribution of the group. That said, this pan performs well in real-world cooking. It's lightweight with a wide cooking surface, flared rims, sloped walls, and a comfortable handle. Demeyere Mineral B Pro is heavier and heats slower than Strata, but it didn't warp, made minimal noise, and retained heat longer than any carbon steel pan I tested. It feels like a cast iron pan, but with a smoother surface and longer, cooler handle. Strata is a good option if you want a lightweight carbon steel pan and don't mind an occasional buzzing, but if you want a thicker, heavier, and quieter pan that retains heat well, go with Demeyere Mineral B Pro. The most important tip I can give you when buying induction cookware is to know the size of the coil on your cooktop. For my testing, I used the Breville Control Freak. They don't disclose their coil size, but based on my investigation, it's about 8 inches. The pans I tested had bottoms around 10 inches, so there was a slight overhang. If the overhang is more than a couple of inches, the center of the pan is going to heat up much faster than the edges, and that uneven heating is what leads to warping. And don't trust the circle painted on your cooktop. The actual coil is usually smaller. Most inexpensive portable induction burners have 6-inch coils, which is way too small for a 12-inch pan. The best way to minimize the risk of warping is to buy pans that fit the coil size, preheat slowly, and buy thicker pans. It's not a coincidence that the thicker, heavier pans I tested, like Demeyere Atlantis, Fissler, and Smithey, performed the best in my warping tests. If you're ready to buy or just want to learn more, I've linked to all the pans I tested in the video description. And if you're still not sure what to buy, I've also linked to my Cookware Finder quiz. All you have to do is answer a few quick questions about your needs and budget, and you'll get a recommendation based on the 60+ cookware brands I've tested. It's totally free and takes less than a minute. If this video was helpful, check out this video where I break down the pros and cons of the best enameled cast iron Dutch ovens. And for more videos like this, click the logo to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.